अवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगे राधा वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणनामि हरिप्रिये वांशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुव एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So let me see. So yesterday we started 13th chapter, and the name of the chapter is the nature, the enjoyer, and the consciousness. So this chapter talks about jnana, and the last 6 chapters from 13th chapter until 18th chapter, right? How jnana leads to bhakti, that is being talked about. So this is the starting chapter. This is one of the very important chapters what Prabhupada has mentioned. And we yesterday Ganpati Govind Prabhu just gave an overview what the questions Arjuna is asking. He asked 6 questions, and as a learned teacher, right, as Prabhuji explained, that a teacher doesn't give the explanation in the same sequence. First he creates a foundation, then builds up your interest, and then he gives the answer. So that's where he takes the sequence. He doesn't answer, Krishna doesn't answer the questions in the same sequence what Arjuna asked. He gives in a different sequence. So we are going to talk about today 13.3, and the questions 3rd and 4th, right? We are going to see what Arjuna has asked, and that we are going to discuss it today. So I'm going to read, and you are going to read after me. You can just go along. Let me see if the video is okay. Prabhu, his video is okay? Rest of the...
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Thank you. क्षेत्र ज्ञानं चपि मां विद्धि
क्षेत्रज्ञानं चापि मां विद्धि
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
क्षेत्रज्ञो ज्ञानं
क्षेत्रज्ञो ज्ञानं
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
क्षेत्रज्ञानं चपि मां विद्धि
क्षेत्रज्ञानं चापि मां विद्धि
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
क्षेत्रज्ञो ज्ञानं
क्षेत्रज्ञो ज्ञानं
यत्ज्ञानं मतं मम
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
क्षेत्रज्ञानं चपि मां विद्धि
क्षेत्रज्ञानं चापि मां विद्धि
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
क्षेत्रज्ञो ज्ञानं
क्षेत्रज्ञो ज्ञानं
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
Anyone want to recite the shloka?
क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि
क्षेत्रज्ञानं चापि मां विद्धि
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
क्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं
क्षेत्रज्ञानं
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि
क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञोर्ज्ञानम्
क्षेत्रज्ञानं
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
क्षेत्रज्ञानं चापि मां वेत्ति
क्षेत्रज्ञं
चापि मां वेत्ति
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारतः
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
क्षेत्रज्ञानयोर्ज्ञानं
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
Anyone else?
क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि
क्षेत्रज्ञं
क्षेत्रज्ञां चापि
चापि
मां विद्धि
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञोर्ज्ञानम्
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि
क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
Okay. Anyone else would like to recite? If not, then we'll go ahead with the synonyms. Okay. Synonyms. Kshetra Jnanam,
क्षेत्रज्ञानं
the knower of the field.
the knower of the field
Cha,
च
also.
also
Api,
अपि
certainly.
certainly
Mam,
मां
me. Vidhi,
विद्धि
no. Sarva,
सर्व
all.
all
Kshetreshu,
क्षेत्रेषु
in bodily fields.
bodily fields
Bharata,
भारत
O son of Bharata.
O son of Bharat
Kshetra,
क्षेत्र
the field of activities.
the field of activities
Kshetragyo,
क्षेत्रज्ञ
and the knower of the field.
and the
and the
knower
knower of the field
Jnanam,
jnanam
knowledge of.
knowledge of
Yat, that which.
that which
Tat,
tat
that. Jnanam,
jnanam
knowledge. Matam, opinion.
opinion
Mama,
mama
mine.
my
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. O Scion of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Okay, purport. While discussing the subject of the body and the knower of the body, the soul and the super soul, we shall find three different topics of study: the Lord, the living entity, and the matter. In every field of activities, in every body, there are two souls: the individual soul and the super soul. Because the super soul is the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, Krishna says, I am also the knower, but I am not the individual owner of the body. I am the super knower. I am present in every body as the Paramatma or super soul. One who studies the subject matter of the field of activity and the knower of the field very minutely in terms of this Bhagavad Gita can attain to knowledge. The Lord says, I am the knower of the field of activities in every individual body. The individual may be the owner of his own body, but he is not in knowledge of other bodies. The Supreme Personality of the Godhead, who is present as the super soul in all bodies, knows everything about all bodies. He knows all the different bodies of the various species of life. A citizen may know everything about his patch of land, but the king knows not only his palace, but all the properties possessed by the individual citizens. Similarly, one may be the proprietor of the body individually, but the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of all bodies. The king is the original proprietor of the kingdom, and the citizen is the secondary proprietor. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the supreme proprietor of all bodies. The body consists of the senses. The Supreme Lord is Rishikesha, which means the controller of the senses. He is the original controller of the senses, just as the king is the original controller of all activities of the state. The citizens are secondary controller. The Lord says, I am also the knower. This means that he is the super knower. The individual soul knows only his particular body. In the Vedic literature, it is stated as follows: Kshetrani hi sharirani bijam chapi shubha shubhe tani veti sa yogatma tatha kshetragna uchyate. The body is called the Kshetra, and within it dwells the matter of the body and the Supreme Lord, who knows both the body and the owner of the body. Therefore, he is called the knower of all fields. The distinction between the field of activities, the knower of activities, and the supreme knower of activities is described as follows. Perfect knowledge of the constitution of the body, the constitution of the individual soul, and the constitution of the super soul is known in terms of Vedic literature as Jnana. That is the opinion of Krishna. To understand both the soul and the super soul as one, yet distinct, is knowledge. One who does not understand the field of activity and the knower of activity is not in perfect knowledge. One has to understand the position of Prakriti, Purusha, the enjoyer of Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer of nature, and Ishvara, the knower who dominates or controls nature and the individual soul. One should not confuse the three in different capacities. One should not confuse the painter, the painting, and the easel. This material world, which is the field of activities, is nature, and the enjoyer of nature is living entity, and above them both is the supreme controller. The personality of the Godhead. It is stated in Vedic language in Svetashar Upanishad 1.12, Bhokta Bhogyam Preritam Cha Matva. Sarvam Proktam Trividham Brahman Etat. There are three Brahman conceptions. Prakriti is Brahman as the field of activities, and the Jiva, the individual soul, is also Brahman and is trying to control material nature. And the controller of both of them is also Brahman, but he is the factual controller. In this chapter, it is explained that out of the two knowers, one is fallible and the other is infallible. One is superior and other is subordinate. One who understands the two knowers of the field to be one and the same contradicts the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who states here very clearly, I am also the knower of the field of activity. One who misunderstands a rope to be servant is not in knowledge. There are different kind of bodies and there are different owners of the bodies, because each individual has his individual capacity for lording it over material nature. There are different bodies, but the Supreme also is present in them as the controller. The word Cha is significant, for it indicates the total number of bodies. That is the opinion of Sri Baladev Vidya Bhushan. Krishna is the super soul present in each and every body apart from the individual soul. And Krishna explicitly says here that the real knowledge is to know the super soul is the controller of both the field of activities and the finite enjoyer. Hare Krishna. So it's a long purport, and Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada is trying to tell a lot of things. And since yesterday, we kind of started this chapter, and it lays down the foundation who are in Jnana Yoga, and how the marg of Gyan, how the path of Gyan ultimately leads to Bhakti. So we have been talking about, we started with the Karma Yoga and gradually we elevates to Ashtanga Yoga and then comes to Bhakti, and Bhakti, Krishna tells that this is the final thing, what you can do. This is the final process, which is ultimate and also the easiest among everything. And finally, he talks about jnana part, right? So sometimes, right, when teacher is there and he's giving a class on a certain subject, and once the class is over, so the student, right, may not restrict just asking the questions, right, related to the class, right? Even if in our temple also, right, or if you might have seen, when a sannyasi or a brahmachari, anyone comes, first they tell, right, questions related to the class, comments, and then if there are any other questions. And you have to understand, the Bhagavad Gita, when it was spoken, right, it was spoken in a 45-minute span of time, 700 verses, and between two person, Arjun and Krishna, and they are going back and forth, back and forth. So almost, right, you if we just read just the translation or even the shloka, right, it may take 2 hours to 2 to 3 hours for a single person. So with the velocity how they have been discussion, right, there is so much. So Arjuna first, he was in dilemma. He asked in the second chapter that first chapter I should fight or not fight, right? And Bhagwan Krishna speaks only starting only in the second chapter. So he even doesn't speak in the first chapter. And sometimes people tell, right, your Bhagavad Gita, why does your Bhagavad Gita starts from second chapter? So Arjuna hasn't surrendered until that. So in 2.2, right, Krishna starts speaking, and he talks about a very important verse. In that thing, very important word, Aryan, right? Aryan is a person who is self-realized. So he tells that you are a non-Aryan, right? You are talking like a non-Aryan, right? And gradually the concept builds up, and he asks first about karma, and then he go on the Ashtanga yoga, and he tells that these are all very difficult, and give me some simple thing, and he gets convinced, right? And now he's talking all together a different topic, right? And as yesterday we heard, right, he's just talking for the welfare of the people, and he may have some doubt what he has been talking, right? So we will just try to see. I will again share my screen, and there will be some questions today based on what we are going to discuss, and it will tell, right, how attentively we are trying to read Srila Prabhupada's per part and trying to hear the class. So we will just and these questions Ganpati Govind Prabhu are going to ask in Saturday class. So these are all 1 marks question. So let me share my screen. Okay, so this chapter, right, in short, if you see, right, it covers 6 questions, and that is the first shloka. And the shloka what we are talking about, right, from second shloka, Krishna starts answering those questions, and today we are discussing specifically about third shloka. And if you look, right, the terms are kind of a similar, kshetragyor, right, and the field of activities, the knower, the super knower, right? So sometimes it can be confusing when we try to hear for the first time, right? So Srila Prabhupada has explained really easy in an easy way, but if we read it very attentively one time, right, we would be able to differentiate between them. And there are a lot of lectures what Srila Prabhupada has given on this thing. He has given his lecture on this specifically, right, in Bombay, Paris, right, and in Hyderabad. So this is one of the verses, right? He has talked a lot about this, and he tells that this chapter itself is kind of a very, very important to understand. And if you see the next 14 chapter in the chapter there onward, right, these terms are kind of going to get used in most of the shlokas. So once if we understand what these terms are, what is kshetra, what is kshetragyor, right, what is jnanam, so in 8 to 12, right, Srila Prabhupada, Krishna is going to talk about what is jnanam. So Shivaram Swami, right, His Holiness Shivaram Swami recently created one video. So if you go and type in Google what is knowledge, it would give you a definition. And more abstract from that, some would give some definition in some kind of a verse or something, what is knowledge, right? But that is kind of a jad vidya. So is that mean that we don't need that knowledge? So acquire that knowledge, whatever is useful, to live in this material world, right? But I think apart from that, if you go and look from 8 to 12, right, how Krishna beautifully defines the definition of knowledge, right? I think it will blow up your mind. So I think once we gradually progresses, right, so you will understand what exactly is the knowledge. And today he gives a glimpse of that in today's verse in shloka 3rd, right? In my opinion, right? He talks in a very submissive way, very humble way. So in my opinion, he's a supreme personality of the Godhead. All the three lokas are under him, but still he is telling in my opinion. So we will just hear about that. What does that in my opinion means? So Gayam, right, from 13 to 19, the object of knowledge. And then he talks about whatever the first two questions were there, Prakriti and Purusham, and whatever the Arjun asked the first and the second question, but he answers them in the last part of the chapter, 20 to 26th verse, right? And the last thing is 27 to 35. It is kind of a complementary thing, Jnana Chakshu. So today, specifically, right, we are going to talk about the third shloka and Kshetragyam, what we are going to talk about. So this PPT, right, it's not going to take long, but they're going to be whatever the Prabhupada has explained in the purport, right? I've just tried to put into my understanding, but it may not be the exact visualization what Prabhupada has explained. So we'll try to understand for the purpose of understanding. Don't take it in literally exactly one-to-one relation, because we are trying to represent few things which cannot be visually seen on a diagram or even with our eyes. So suppose this is kind of a human being. So this or this body, right? If you consider this body, what is this body? He's telling about Kshetra. So this is the field of activities, the body. So if we consider about ourselves or anyone, right, you look, there is a body, and how is this body is made up of? It is made up of 24 elements. So this body is called Kshetra. So like if you see, you have a house, and that house has an area, right? Kshetra is an area. So your body, whatever is there, is called a Kshetra. So but Kshetra, like a car, if you have, right, how does the car moves? You need a driver. If there is no driver, that car is kind of a waste. Yeah, now people may tell that there are autopilot are coming, but even for the autopilot, right, means someone very intelligent may come and tell, just counteract all the things, right? But you have to manually feed what is the destination, right? Then someone may tell, oh, we have a Alexa or something, but ultimately there is someone who is a jiva who is just trying to do, means the supercomputer or AI or anything you talk about, right? Ultimately behind the scenes there is someone, a jiva, there is a personal touch which is going behind that, right? So you cannot have the material scientists. We are going to talk later about this thing, the material scientists, what they think about this thing, right? So within that body, right, there are two more knowers, right? As you would have heard the purport, right? Those two knowers, right? Those are called Kshetragyam, the knower of the field. So who knows this body? So the first is the individual soul, and the second is the super soul. So you have a body which is called Kshetra, and then there are two knowers in that body. Those are called Kshetragyam. So clear until here? Okay, so this is not that tough. I think we can go in sequence. So next, let's try to understand what is Kshetra, right? So the first, if you go back, right, the first thing what we started with, it was Kshetra, right? So let's try to understand little more in detail what exactly the Kshetra is, right? Kshetra is not just what we think, right? It is more complex than. If I give you three colors, right, red, blue and green, right, red RBG, red, blue and green, right, we can make multiple colors out of that. But if you look about this, right, the body is made up of Mahabhuta, right? Those are called 5 great elements, and you name them as earth, water, fire, air and ether. So that's the only thing sometimes we remember, but earth, your body is kind of a more complex than that. So it is not just made up of all those 5 elements. So as slowly we progress into this chapter, you will come to know, right, it is made up of a false ego, intelligence and unmanifested stage of the 3 modes of nature. So what are the three modes of material nature, right? The mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and mode of goodness. And we have to transcend all these three modes of material nature. So unless we sometimes we are in mode of ignorance, sometimes we are in mode of passion, and sometimes we are in mode of goodness. So, but more or less, we are trying to rotate in the three modes. And then there are, you have your 5 Gyanendriya, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. There are 5 Karmendriyas. So does anyone want to tell what are those 5 Karmendriyas?
Legs, hands.
Okay, hands, legs. What else?
Yeah, legs and what else?
Okay, so this is going to be 1 marks question by Kanpati Prabhu.
Tongue, skin, right?
Okay.
I think genital comes here.
Yes, Prabhu, you're right. Anus, genitals, voice, legs. So these are Karmendriya. So what else? We have mind. So that is also part of your senses. So how many are total until now? And the last is the object of the senses. Smell, taste, form, touch, and sound. So if we are paying attention, right, means how many does this total combine into? So how many are the total elements? All this thing. How
24.
many?
25.
25, 23, 24, 25. So which is the right one? So Krishna tells it is 24 elements. So you are right, it is 24 elements. So if you now take, right, with the 24 elements, what is the permutation and combination you can create, right? It is humongous. So we cannot even imagine, right? So now someone, if they want to kind of eat lot of meat or flesh or something, right? Krishna tells, okay, right, I will give you that body in your next life, right? Take a body of a fox, or take a body of a lion or a tiger, right? And someone wants to kind of enjoy sensory pleasures, right? So take a body of a pigeon, right? Take a body of a monkey. So there are different bodies based on your desire. So your desire, your karma, whatever you do, and the sanction of the supreme. So this is Kshetra. This is what you understand, right? Then let's move to next part. So this is just kind of a empty skeleton in your body, right? But there is nobody maneuvering this body, right? So somebody you need to give that personal touch. So as we were talking about, but let's see who is that the next person, right? Who help us to move this body. So Kshetragyam. So Kshetragyam, like, so suppose like we take, there are 2 person, not just one, right? And there is a blue and red, right? And just again green or red. So red, if you see, right, it's kind of a common. And now it's given in many Upanishads. It's an analogy about what they're kind of a 2 birds within the body. We will first understand what is this green, blue and red means. So if you just talk about green and blue, right, this is the individual souls. So if you talk about any living being, right, they have some they have that individual soul, and that is called Atma. And if you just talk about the red part, right, and that is the super soul, Paramatma. So that Paramatma is staying in everyone's heart. And if you go again to the second chapter, which is the contents of the Gita summarized. So how does Krishna tells? You have your red blood cells in your body, and they are moving and they are carrying the oxygen. So scientists accept, right, there is some consciousness which is there in the body, and the red blood cells are also moving, they are carrying oxygen, but they don't understand where they get that energy. Those blood cells, from where do they get that energy? So for a simple example, right, so when a person dies, right, and the soul and the super soul leaves the body of the person. So body is there, the cells are there, the liver is there, the heart is there. So what has left that body, so which is not working? So the person was talking, right? So scientists cannot explain. So they tell that there is some consciousness, but we don't know. The heart is the source of that consciousness. The heart has stopped pumping. But can you put a pacemaker and then just revive that person? They cannot do that. It means only to a certain extent. As long as both these things, right? Red and this blue, or red and green, right? This is as we spoke about, right? This is for the purpose of understanding, right? So if you again go, the complete description of the Atma in the second chapter, the soul, right, is given, right? It cannot be killed by any weapons. It cannot be moistened by the wind. It cannot be burned by the fire. It cannot be. It is such a minute, right? Such a minute, and it is kind of a always existent, that with any force or any weapons, you cannot destroy the soul. So this is something we understand. So who are the knower of this body? The individual soul and the super soul, the Atma and Paramatma. So Krishna tells, right, I am just not the owner of this body, your owner. So there is one more owner, and I am the super knower. So if you see, he is in the same Paramatma, he is here, same Paramatma is here, right? And this same Paramatma is there in everything. It is there even in the atom also, in molecules also, even in the living and the non-living. So he resides everywhere. So sometimes some people may just try to kind of ask people, right, or put into your thing, right, does he exist in the garbage also? So sometimes we may think, right, there's such a kind of a question, and we may get bewildered. But when you think minutely, right, Paramatma is there in everything, even in the smallest of the smallest, right, biggest of the biggest. So what does even the garbage is made up of, right? It is made up of the atoms, if you go ultimately, right? And it is there, and then you think how great is the Paramatma. It is there in everyone. And sometimes if you think, right, I just wanted to call someone, and you expected them, and I was just thinking about you, how does that communication happen, right? People tell the telepathy and all that, right? It is the Paramatma in your heart is talking to the Paramatma in others' heart, and just making that communication happen. So we understand Kshetragyam. What is Kshetragyam? The owner of the body. And who are the owners of the body? There are two owners, the individual soul and the super soul. And previously, what did we learn about the Kshetra? And what does the Kshetra is made up of? It is made up of 24 elements, and it is called the field of activities, the body. It is not just subjected to the human body. So it is all the bodies of the animals, all the aquatics. There are 8.4 million species. And in this material world, they are made up of this 24 elements. Beyond this beyond this material world, which is 1/4 of the total world, right? This is just 1/4 material world. Whatever we see, this is just one part of the thing. So the whole universe, you can think, if we just look above, right, we see so many stars, and like this our universe, there are millions of universe, and total, if you combine all this material, it is just 25% of the whole creation what Krishna has created. So we have to think that we are kind of so minute, right? We think that amoeba is very small, but when we go to the space, right, we are also like a amoeba on the earth, right? But we have something special, right? We have the power of self-realization. So what is the purpose of every day coming, hearing about this, right? What are we trying to do, right? Means it is just not class, right? Or reading about this, or increasing the knowledge, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already said, in this age, the only purification that can happen is through chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So if we are not chanting it, then we should start this thing, chanting. So the purpose of Vedas, right, is to understand, to develop the pure love for the Godhead. And that's how he is going to be happy. So let's try to understand what we have understand, and how much we have kind of paid attention, right? So to understand this body and its knower, what is it called? Just 1 marks for this. Anyone?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Yes. Yeah, that's right. So I think you already know the answers. The question paper is leaked. So let's see this. Perfect knowledge of the constitution of the body, the constitution of the individual soul, and the constitution of the super soul in terms of the Vedic literature is known as what is it known as? You can refer the purport now. It's an open book exam. Anyone?
Kshetrajna.
Chitra.
That's not right.
Soul and super soul, right? Kshetrajna.
No, that's not even right. Read one more time.
Yeah.
Perfect knowledge of the constitution of the body, the constitution of the individual soul, and the constitution of the super soul is known in terms of Vedic literature as. The clue is there on the slide.
Gyan.
Gyan.
Kyam.
Geham.
Gyam.
So see,
Everything
we
is
just started the chapter. There are different things. Yeah, Gyan is correct answer. It is called what in the purport. If you see it has been mentioned is Gyanam. Exactly. Gyan. Yeah, Gyana. Right. So that's right. So basically, what we are telling, right? The knowledge to understand your body, the owner of the body, and the field of activity, right? It is a combination of all the three: the body, the soul, individual soul, and the super soul. All the three, right? Prakriti, Purusha, right, and nature, right? Prakriti, Purusha, and yeah. Purusha basically it refers to both the individual soul and the super soul, Prakriti and Purusha. But if you read further, right, ultimate Purusha is only Krishna. So even a man wearing a cloth of a man, right, he is also kind of considered as a woman because the ultimate enjoyer, right, is Krishna. And for this. Prabhupada explains a very nice story in Hitopanishad, right? At one time, right, this stomach, right, stomach was there, and all the body parts, and along with this. The body parts, right, they decided that they will go on a strike, right, because they are working, right, Karmendriya, Gyanendriya, they are working, and stomach is enjoying the food. He's the enjoyer. So you eat a palatable food and everything, rasgulla or anything, right? And but who is eating all those things? The stomach is eating. So they said, right, let's do a strike. The hand said that I'm not going to break the roti or chapati or rice, right? I'm not going to feed myself. And the leg said, right, I'm not going to go and do the work, right? And after 3 days, what they started, right, they are just lacking the energy, and they said, right, we are not able feeding you, and then we are struggling. So the enjoyer was the stomach, right, but the other things were working, and then they were also getting once the stomach was fed, the other parts were also kind of satisfied. So if you establish a relation with Krishna, so if you start feeding him, so feeding in the sense you start working for him, right, you always think about him, and you think that he is the ultimate enjoyer, right, and you seek your happiness in his enjoyment, right, then anything what you do, right, in relation to him, so you would see that the happiness would start coming. So this body has been given, right, like this is kind of an apartment. What Prabhupada gives a very famous analogy. So like a landlord is there, and he has a different apartments, and the different people are there renting them, and each of them are staying in their own home. The landlord knows all the apartments. He knows who is staying there, how much the rent is coming from. But the renter, right, then he in some time starts thinking that he owns this home, right. What the landlord is going to do? He's going to kick him out. So that's one thing. And Prabhupada, I think if you would see in the purport, right, he gives the analogy for the king. King knows what the people of his state are trying to do. So he knows how much the tax, how much the income they are earning. Like IRS know how much the income we are earning, right? So someone is just trying to not file correctly, they are going to send some kind of a inquiry against you, right? So similarly, right, Krishna doesn't interfere, right? He has lot of different potencies which can work for him. So he doesn't have to involve himself in such affairs. So like the karma cycle is just running, right? Whatever we do, right? So that's where if we know that in our heart there is someone always watching, so then there is no question that that you would do something wrong. So you will always do in accordance with the Shastra, and Shastra are something, right, which are the words of the Lord. So when you do anything in accordance with Krishna, right, there is no question of going wrong. So let's see the next one. To understand both the soul and the super soul as one yet distinct is, what is it called? Anyone? Okay, so so that is also called knowledge. So if you see, this is jnanam. So these are different definitions, and if you see, these are all within our purport what Srila Prabhupada has written. So this is not outside of this scope of this purport. So let's see the next, right. Srila Prabhupada says in his purport, and what some of the things, right. He, if you would have seen, he talks specifically about Brahman. So Brahman, he gives that there are three things which are kind of a known as Brahman, and sometimes it can be confusing also. But how do we understand? So the field of activities, right? What is it that field of activities is called? Anyone? What are the
Body.
Prakriti, right? The field of activities. So in 14.3 also he talks about that the total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is the Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings. So when Shambhu looks from his eyes, and he impregnate Durga Devi with all the living beings. So when the pralaya happens, all the living beings dies, and they go into Mahavishnu. And again, when the Srishti, and when the appearance of the earth and all the planetary system comes, right, during that time, so based on your desire, wherever you have left, right, and whatever the body you based on your karma, you are entitled, right, you are giving. So you again enter into this Prakriti. So Prakriti is remains there, it is also eternal, right, but all the jiva go back to Mahavishnu. So that's we want to understand. So that is also sometimes called as Brahman. And if you go further in 14.3, you will see that Brahman is kind of a used for Prakriti also. So trying to control material nature. Mama Mama Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatan. So the living entity in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. So what is it called?
Jiva.
So
Jiva.
yeah, the jiva. So the jiva, or the conditioned soul, or the individual thing, or the living beings, right? So they are also called as Brahman. And finally, the controller of both of them. So what is that called?
Brahman also.
The super soul. So that is also called as yeah, Param Brahma. Yeah. So in that reference, right, Prabhupada mentions about that all the three can be called, right. And how do we understand this in simple terms, right? If you take example of a post, right, so sometimes you ask a soldier, where are you posted? So where is your post? Or he may say, means I am in California, or somewhere, or I am in somewhere in Utah. So the post, and sometimes you tell, right, can you post it? So you can post it on the internet. You can post some topic on the internet. So the same word, right, the Brahman can be used based on, in accordance with what the context is, what is being talked about. So it can be interchange. It can change based on the circumstances. It can be used. So we should not think that the Brahman is just only one meaning. So that is what is kind of a referred. So Brahman can refer to all the three. So some other things what Prabhupada has used in the purport, right? The king in the apartment, we kind of talked about, right? We'll just quickly talk about some of from his lectures, right? He just mentioned about, right, in California, right? In California University, there was a professor, and the professors, right, they tell, right, that in this material world, right, anything the jiva or the living being is a combination of different chemicals. So pay attention here. Is a combination of different chemicals. So Prabhupada said, right, and his one of his students was there. Swarup Damodar, his name was, and he was a professor in chemistry, and he asked the professor, right, he in California University, that if we give you some chemicals, right, can you create life out of that? And they said, right, that is not possible. It can be done in the future, but not now. So Prabhupada always said, means what can be done now, you show that, right, not talk about the future. Is that possible to do it now? And if you see, right, even today we are in the same stage. We will tell that it can be done in the future. So we cannot create even a single seed. We can do the GMO on that seed, right, genetically modify. So we cannot create grains. So a lot of things we cannot create, but still we want to lord this material nature. We want to be the supreme. And another analogy what Prabhupada talks about is about the painting and the easel, right? If you take about a painter, right, he is compared to the supreme personality of the Godhead, and the easel is like your material nature, the canvas and the stand, and the painting is compared to the Jivatma. So this is a approximate relation. It is not one to one, because in the painting, if you see the willingness, the will of the jiva is missing. It is kind of starting. It has only just one dimension. So that's some of the things, right? What Prabhupada and we kind of learned from this chapter. So I would just stop here. That's what kind of a pretty much what we had. But this is kind of a important to build the foundation, right, to understand what is kshetragya, what is a kshetra made up of, and when you study those 24 elements in detail, right, that analytical study, right, that gradually takes you to the Sankhya Yoga. So Sankhya first is the atheist Sankhya. Yesterday only I was just discussing about this with Ganpati Govind Prabhu, right, and when you have kind of a Jivatma added to that, right, then the Munis, right, or the Mayavadi, they think that Jivatma and the soul, right, they are kind of the same. So they will consider 24 plus 1, 25 elements. And then Kapila Muni, what he talks about, right, he talks about the 26 elements. So when you think about, right, just reading about all of this in detail, right, it's kind of overwhelming. So sometimes if you think from steam, from steam, how the earth can come from water, how the earth can come. So it is kind of a beyond our perception. So but some people, right, they find it very interesting to read this, but ultimately what you conclude to, right, after reading 13, 14, 15 chapter, 16 chapter, right, what do you conclude? It will conclude that bhakti is the easiest mark, right? So whatever, wherever we want to go, right, we want to look for the cost effective and the time effective, right, in terms of time, energy, right, we want to travel our book our travel. So if you have to go back to the Godhead, leave this material world, right, we have to look what is the best and the cost effective way. So either we take the karma yoga or bhakti yoga or gyan yoga. The choice is yours, right? We are reading this, all these things, but we have to decide, because the time is kind of a really running out. So we are every day coming, but what is the purpose of all, right, as we kind of discuss. But I would just stop here and open it up if we have any questions, comments, anything to say. Hare Krishna.
Just want to comment, Damodar Swarup, that nice analogies. I like all your analogies.
Thank you, Mataji.
Easy
So
to
this is
understand.
just all Prabhupada's what he has given in reference, right? I'm just like learned or mugged, to be precise, right, before the class. But Prabhupada, he writes kind of a really in very simple way, right? And his books are kind of a ever fresh, right? Like Krishna is kind of a ever fresh, right? Even if you read 30 years from now, or people who have read 30 years back, right, they can always understand. So the Bhagavad Gita as it is kind of a very, very powerful book.
Yeah,
that
and
can
every
change.
time you understand some new meaning also.
Yes. Yes. Anything else? Any questions? Any?
I had a general question not related to the 13th chapter. You said that it was Bhagavad Gita was spoken in 45 minutes. Is that accurate? Is
Yeah,
that
that's what I have heard in various lectures, Mataji. But I think I have heard. I have not kind of read about this thing. But I think Ganpati Govind Prabhu or others, right? Prabhuji Mataji can correct if that is not the right thing. But this is what, yes, I have heard about this thing.
that's a very short period of time for all those verses.
Yes,
I heard 1 hour 30 minutes, but
Yeah, I think 90 minutes, Prabhu.
90 minutes. Okay.
I was not able to complete the overview of 6 chapters in 1 hour. So
We are not Krishna.
Okay. Okay, I think so. That's 90 minutes, Mataji. So if Krishna was just speaking by himself, then he can complete it. Even a second.
And we don't understand Sanskrit.
Yes, yeah. So
That is the
Prabhupada has
biggest thing.
given, right, and we have been going for months together, and one chapter also, and that one purport also. If just I was about given this service, right, and I was reading it for 2-3 days, even beyond that, right. So this is our understanding, right. The Jivatma cannot lord this material nature, right. Is the only way we can enjoy, right, when we align ourselves with the service of the Lord. Thank you, Mataji, for correcting that. Yeah, thanks. Even I was under the impression it was 45 minutes.
Yeah, thanks. Just to know some general knowledge.
Yeah, okay. Anything else if we have? So if not, then we can stop and you have 7 minutes of your time today because we cannot start the next verse. But tomorrow, I think someone who is taking it will take the 4th verse. Okay, so we can give Vaishnava prayers and then we can stop. Vansha kalpatarubyascha kripa sindhava eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.